Part 2 of our historical presentation will be our Pastor Emeritus, Pastor Ed Whetstone. I think you all know who he is.
Primary source for this information is Ed Whetstone's 1974 history on the 125th anniversary. By the grace of God, that second and third generation of our Salem ancestors were stirred by a new vision. No longer any services in German, and soon no country lane either. Like their parents who formed a new church home in this land, the next generations envisioned their church transplanted into the mainstream of American life. They launched a monumental effort, making plans, raising capital, and spending 2 years worshiping in Library Hall in the village till the new home was ready. They extended a call to a young seminarian, Martin Luther Enders, who was ordained and installed as they began worship in their newly dedicated building in 1903. I was going to ask, how many have visited Old Salem? You've already said that. If you've not, please go. And the Christmas open house on the December 13th is a good opportunity. I've often tried to imagine what that must have been like for the congregants that first Sunday in the building that we all know so well. Those folks who crowded into the little country chapel, first entering the comparatively spacious New Salem, a nave several times as large. It must have been altogether breathtaking. Its appearance was not as it is now. The chancel everywhere was dark oak. The altar, the reredos paneling, pulpit, and railing. It would be several decades until the stained glass windows were all installed. But the primary story, of course, was not the furniture and the walls. That story is the congregational life that bloomed and abounded now in the center of Catonsville. Once a rural way station, it was now a bustling little town with trolleys riding the rails to and from the thriving port city of Baltimore. So a new era dawned for Salem. Memberships steadily swelled. Pastor John Bowers was called in 1911 and would serve for 36 years. Parish organizations were established for men and women, people of all ages. There was the Sunday School, Ladies' Aid Society, Men's Brotherhood, Women's Missionary Societies, Salem Missionary Helpers, World Friendship Society, Lutheran for the young folk. A great portion of the members centered their week's activities and their sense of belonging in the parish life at Salem. These groups flourished, almost all of them, into the next half-century. Such vibrant activity prompted a variety of improvements. A parsonage was built behind the church in 1911, along with a stable. In 1917, the back of the church was extended to enlarge the space for the Sunday school. That same year, the basement was dug deeper in order to provide a kitchen and rooms for meetings and dinners, and some of us can remember how that large space was partitioned with folding wooden doors so it could all be opened as a large hall. Changes were apparent in their worship too. In 1906, the Jesus Ascension painting was marvelously placed over the altar. A pipe organ built by the Moeller Organ Company in Hagerstown was installed in 1929, and at that time, that was the largest and most widely acclaimed pipe organ company in the world. In 1932, the chancel was renovated in sort of a Byzantine style, with the oak paneling and furnishings of the chapel all replaced by mosaics, marble, and brass. Following Dr. Bowers' retirement in 1947, Pastor William Newby was called as our sole pastor. Salem, like most all churches in the United States, was on the cusp of a boom in membership and attendance. In our centennial year of 1949, Salem listed 1,249 members, 954 of them confirmed, and 534 communing members. Growth continued. Church-going in the 1950s was at its zenith. Never before so many, nor so large a portion of the population, and never since. A Sunday school wing was inevitable. Ground was broken in the new building dedicated in 1955. Soon enrollment in the Sunday school was 570. Now that would be children and the adults. Even so, there were changes and challenges already in motion. Catonsville's distinct identity as a small town was losing hold, and increasingly the community was pulled into the much larger orbit of the Baltimore metropolitan area. Its increasing population was less tethered here, as it attracted commuters who worked in Baltimore and Washington, and as others moved here from the city, only then to move and settle farther out. The times, as it was recently sung on Salem stage, they were a-changin'. Taking us to 1950.